Well, I got to tell you, I think the 12 gauge shotgun with buckshot is the best pig gun there is. And if you'll stick around, I'll tell you why I think that. Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we'll spend some time at the range. And every now and then we'll reconvene back in my shop back in Houston, or here at the farm in Louisiana, where I'll build some fun projects, and we'll share an adventure or two that'll make even a grown man smile. And in today's video, well, it's going to be a different video than I was originally planning, but a couple of things happened over the last 2 nights that made me think I want to do something different than what I had planned. And night before last, I took a step outside about 10:30 before going to bed, and there were pigs in the yard. And so I went back inside, I grabbed my 12 gauge shotgun, and with the light off, I wandered off close enough to them to get a shot. I put down about an 80-pound sow. And then last night, about 11:30, I did the same thing, and I walked a little bit farther down towards the road and looked across into the pasture, and lo and behold, there were pigs in the pasture. And so I went back in, got my shotgun, and I had a much longer walk, and that's actually the walk we're taking right now. So it's a walk I took last night in the dark, and feeling my way. Of course, I could see the trees a little bit, and I knew where I was, but I wandered down to where I thought the pigs would be, and I got really still. And then I heard them, and I could tell they were kind of all around me. And so I turned the light on, and I looked off to the left, and lo and behold, there was the first one I saw. And so I popped him, and he squealed an awful lot, but didn't go anywhere. He was just telling the rest of the pigs in that sounder, "Hey, don't come back here. This is bad." And so I thought, you know what? I want to do a video on the 12 gauge effectiveness when it comes to on the ground at night, the kind of pig hunting that I do anyway. Now, other guys are going to have different answers, and that's fine. But for me, the 12 gauge shotgun with double-aught buckshot is the cat's meow. And I want to thank Officer Greg, OG's Danger Show, and here's a link to his channel right here that you can check out. He's a great guy, and just a great guy. He's been a real encouragement to me. And Officer Greg sent me a care package, a box filled with all kinds of buckshot rounds for 12 gauge. And man, my heart was warmed, and I'm very thankful, Officer Greg, and I appreciate it. And so I wanted to do a video about the effectiveness of the 12 gauge for things like pig hunting. And so we're going to do a little bit of shooting. By the way, I want to thank all you guys for watching. There's just nothing like the community that is building around Target Suite, that are watching the videos and also commenting. You guys are the best commenters on YouTube, I think. And I've learned a lot. I think a lot of guys have learned stuff from the vast database of knowledge that shows up in the comments. But anyway, here's this little boar. He's about, I'm going to guess 60 pounds, maybe 70 pounds. And yes, the 12 gauge at about 35 yards, that buckshot just put him down hard. But if you're wondering why I care about these pigs, these guys are re-engineering the farm and damaging, and you really can't see the depth of this cultivation that they do out here in the pasture. And then I'll drop in some footage here, down what they've done down at the pond. It's just incredible. And so pigs are my arch nemesis. And we are going to start a campaign here to make life inconvenient for the pigs, because they've really found a home here, and they've grown way too comfortable. And so we're going to try to discourage them from coming. You can never do anything about the population unless you have full-time trapping operations going on, but at least maybe I can discourage them from wanting to come back. But we're going to do some shooting now and see what this 12 gauge buckshot does. And again, thanks Officer Greg, because we're going to send some of your rounds downrange in this video. I'm sorry, I just had to scratch that itch. But listen, if you're serious about hunting with buckshot beyond about 25 yards, depending on the wad you choose, it can greatly affect downrange performance. And so let's step right over here to the shooting bench and we'll talk more about that. Well, my first experience with the different kind of shotgun wads and how much difference they made was when I put together the video about using tungsten super shot turkey loads for home defense. And some of the tungsten super shot loads that I used had the Federal Flight Control wad. And it makes a big difference in that it stays with the shot column much longer. In fact, I shot both of these up in the yard in a safe direction. And the Flight Control wad, which is there right here, the red one, it went about 20 steps further than this guy right here. So this one went about 35 yards, and this one went, about, what did I say, about 25 yards, something like that. And so the Flight Control wad stays with the shot column longer, and it actually doesn't open from the front. It opens from the back, and it creates like a dart. And so the dart then just pulls away nice and slowly from the shot column, keeps the shot column intact, and so you get smaller groups with your buckshot with the Federal Flight Control wad. And I could say a whole lot more about that, but rather than make this video really long, I'm just going to put a link right here to a video that Buffalo's Outdoors did a couple of years ago. And he really ran the Flight Control wad buckshot through the ringer and really tell you how much better your buckshot will perform. And so for the pigs that I'm shooting, I've got a vital zone about this big, and at 35 yards I may or may not put a buckshot pellet in that space at 35 yards. And that's kind of the maximum that I would shoot, maybe 40 yards. But anyway, that kill zone, that vital zone I should say, on a small pig, I hope the wind is not too bad. That vital zone is smaller than you think. But speaking of pigs, when I filmed that intro, I had 2 pigs on the ground. And that was actually 2 days ago that I filmed that intro. And then we had some really good rain, had a front come through last night. But the evening that I filmed that video and I showed you that little boar, I came back out in the woods to almost the same place as I was standing for that video, and ran into another group of pigs. And I'll tell you what, they are skittish. And I turned on the green light. I walked out until I could hear the pigs, and I knew they were around me. And when I turned on the green light on my shotgun, the pigs started moving. I mean, they knew right away that light was on. And so anybody that tells you that pigs can't see green light, they need to come here, and I'll show them that's not true with these pigs at least. So anyway, when I turned the light on, they started moving, and I fired a shot, and pigs kept running. There was no squeals or anything, and so I kind of thought maybe I'd missed. But then the next day, my sister happened to find that pig. She took a walk down here to the pond, and when she was walking back, she found that little pig, that sow, about a 70 or 80 pound one that ran maybe 70 yards or so. And she just happened to see the sun shining on that tan belly. And so I had 3 pigs down. And then today, when I was coming down here to set up, there was a bunch of buzzards right over there, just at about 60 yards from the shooting bench. And when I parked the RTV, the side by side, the buzzards took off. And so I walked over there to check, and there was another pig there. And so I had shot multiple times over the last several nights, and was assuming that my bad aim was not bringing home the bacon, as they say. But but it turns out that I really had 4 pigs down over 4 nights of hunting. And last night I came down here again, and I walked down almost to the pond, and I sat in a spot there and turned on the green light every 7 or 8 minutes, and lo and behold, one time I turned on the light and the pigs had come out into a small opening, and when they saw that green light, man, they took off like crazy, and so I didn't get a shot. But anyway, one interesting thing about 3 of those pigs is that I drug them all down behind the pond to recycle. And the next day I went down to check on them, and all 3 pigs were completely missing. No sign of any kind of predatory scavenging activity. The whole pigs were just gone. And so I don't know about you, but I don't believe in Bigfoot. But I got to tell you this. When I got in the RTV yesterday morning, I looked up and there was a UFO. And I have the video to prove it. Now, obviously, that's not a UFO, but if you think you know what that is, tell me in the comments. But anyway, back to those missing pigs. I'm just assuming that other pigs came and hauled them off, because I doubt that we have enough mountain lions here in northwest Louisiana. We have had some pass through because we've seen it from the Louisiana Fish and Game, but I doubt seriously we have enough to haul off 3 pigs. So I kind of rambled there a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed that UFO video, that UFO sighting. Now I've got 2 pumpkins that I'm going to set up right down there. You saw one of them. I'm going to set the other pumpkin up, and we're going to shoot one pumpkin with a standard wad 12 gauge double-aught buckshot with 9 pellets. In fact, all of the shotgun shells that I have here that I'm going to use have 9 pellets. And then the second pumpkin I'm going to shoot with the flight control, the Federal Flight Control. This is actually called, let me put my glasses on in case you couldn't read it. This is 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch buckshot, maximum 9 pellets, double-aught buck with flight control wad, and these are federal premium law enforcement. And so let's go over there and we'll shoot those 2 pumpkins, and we'll see if you can tell on the slow motion camera if there is a difference. And I'm going to shoot at about 15 yards, and we'll see if there's a difference in the concentration of pellets that shows up on camera. And then if you stick around, we're going to head back down to the gong that I opened this video with, and we're going to put 3 shots on that 16-inch piece of steel and see how with the flight control wad double-aught buckshot, and see if we can tell if more pellets hit that steel. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Okay, I've got 2 shells that we're going to shoot. I'm going to shoot the red is the flight control, the purple is the flight control shell from Federal, and the green is a Remington Express. And so I'm going to shoot the Remington Express first. So it's going in second, and safety's on. Now, I'm going to shoot the first pumpkin with the Remington Express, then I'll go set up the other pumpkin and shoot. We'll do all this really quick after I get my other ear in. Well, I'm not sure I got a dead center hit on either one of them, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to head off and segue down to the steel gong, and I'm going to put 3 rounds on the steel gong. We're going to repaint it and put 3 rounds on the steel gong and see if we can compare how many pellets we get with the Federal Flight Control ammunition shells versus those were Ranger shells that I put, I think that's Winchester, that I put on the gong at the very beginning of the video. So let's head down to the gong, and we're going to do 3 more shots of flight control wads, and we'll see how many pellets we can capture in the yellow paint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I count 18 pellets using the standard wad ammunition that I shot in that first sequence at the very beginning of the video. So I'm going to paint everything up here, and just so that you see it's all happening, and then I'm going to reshoot, and we'll count and see how many pellets out of the flight control wad actually made it onto the 16-inch target. So let's get shooting. Okay, here we go. We got the three flight control shells from Federal, and we're going to shoot at about 28 yards, I think, and we'll see how many pellets we get here from the flight control shells versus the standard wads. Here we go. Well, I want to say thanks, guys, for joining me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we had 18 in the first shot. We've got 21 now, but they're all really centered here, and I kind of jerked that first shot. So I want to say thank you guys for joining me. I hope to see you in the comments. And one of the things I never ask you guys to do very much, and that's to like my video, because the YouTube algorithm really likes to see those. And so if you will, it costs you nothing. Just click on that little thumbs up, and it helps out the Target Suite channel a lot. So thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.